The global automotive landscape has just felt a tremor, one that didn't come from Silicon Valley, Tokyo, or Munich. It came from Africa. In a bold and unexpected announcement, African engineers and innovators have revealed a self-powered car that could redefine what the world thinks is possible in sustainable mobility. The international electric vehicle industry, dominated for years by US, European, and Chinese giants, is suddenly on alert. Headlines across tech journals and social media feed one electrifying message: Africa has entered the race, and it might be rewriting the rules. The reveal came at a packed press event in Nairobi, streamed live to millions around the globe. Viewers expected another incremental EV prototype, sleeker design, maybe faster charging, but what they saw left analysts speechless. The presenters didn't talk about batteries or plug-in ports. They talked about a car that powers itself, a closed-loop energy system capable of regenerating and storing power from multiple renewable sources without ever needing an external charge. Within hours, hashtags like #Evrevolution, #selfpoweredcar, and #cleanenergy breakthrough trended worldwide. Behind the curtain of this groundbreaking project stands a coalition of African startups, research universities, and green tech investors united under one mission: to create a sustainable transportation model tailored for the continent's future. Their concept challenges the conventional EV model by combining advanced solar membranes, kinetic recovery systems, and a next-generation ultracapacitor that redefines what range means. The prototype, they claim, can travel over 1,200 kilometers on continuous self-generated power, operating in harsh climates without dependency on external grids. For a continent often portrayed as a consumer rather than a creator of cutting-edge tech, this launch flips the narrative completely. Western automakers spent billions refining lithium-ion battery tech, fighting over charging networks and rare earth supply chains. Africa just demonstrated an alternative path, one that bypasses the global bottleneck altogether. Energy independence is no longer theoretical, it's tangible, rolling silently down a test track outside Nairobi. Industry observers immediately drew parallels with the early days of Tesla, when a single idea rewrote decades of automotive convention. But this time, the innovation doesn't come from Silicon Valley's high-tech corridors. It comes from a region historically overlooked by venture capital. The symbolism is powerful. Africa, home to vast solar potential and abundant raw materials, has decided not merely to supply resources for other nations' EVs, but to manufacture its own revolutionary mobility solutions. From a technical standpoint, the self-powered label refers to a synergy of three proprietary systems. The solar skin layer, SSL, integrates transparent photovoltaic nanofilm into every surface of the car, from roof to body panels, absorbing sunlight throughout the day. Beneath the chassis, kinetic regenerative converters, KRCs, harvest energy from motion itself, transforming every turn of the wheel and vibration into usable electricity. At the core lies the infinity cap, an ultracapacitor array capable of charging and discharging almost instantly, storing massive amounts of energy without degradation. Together, they create a perpetual energy ecosystem that keeps the vehicle running with negligible external input. Skeptics initially questioned the feasibility, citing the challenges of efficiency and durability. Yet during live testing, the prototype maintained stable power output for 48 continuous hours under varying conditions: rain, cloud cover, and nighttime operation, thanks to its hybrid system that switches dynamically between stored solar and kinetic reserves. Engineers reported that the vehicle's onboard AI optimizes energy flow in real time, predicting demand and adjusting power distribution to maintain performance even when sunlight is scarce. Global automakers quickly took notice. Within days, major EV executives from Europe and Asia requested technical briefings. Industry analysts estimate that if Africa's self-powered technology scales commercially within the next 5 years, it could disrupt the trillion-dollar EV infrastructure that relies on external charging networks and battery replacements. The implications stretch far beyond cars. It could influence drones, shipping, and decentralized power generation. Financial markets responded instantly. Renewable tech indices spiked. Investors began redirecting attention toward African clean energy startups. For the first time, Africa isn't being viewed solely as an emerging consumer base, but as a source of next-generation engineering. News anchors called it the Tesla moment of the African continent, a pivotal point where perception meets innovation. The social impact of this revelation runs deep. Across African cities, young engineers, university students, and garage inventors see validation for years of quiet experimentation. Many of them watch the reveal with tears in their eyes. One Nairobi-based student tweeted, "For decades we imported the future. Today, we built it." The statement resonated worldwide, symbolizing a shift in global technological identity. The environmental implications are equally profound. Traditional EVs, while cleaner than fossil fuel vehicles, still depend heavily on centralized electricity grids, often powered by coal or natural gas. A self-powered vehicle bypasses that dependence entirely, aligning perfectly with net zero ambitions. Africa, a continent abundant in solar energy, yet often lacking in grid infrastructure, suddenly appears to have the perfect conditions for a decentralized, sustainable mobility revolution. Imagine millions of vehicles generating their own energy, turning roads into moving solar farms, and reducing urban emissions almost to zero. Energy economists are calling it the second wave of electrification. The first wave electrified the engine, the second will electrify independence. If Africa's innovation matures, it could trigger a new economic era. Countries with vast sunlight exposure could export patented self-power technologies rather than raw minerals, diversifying their economies and boosting GDP growth. Governments across the continent are reportedly drafting policies to support local manufacturing and intellectual property protection, ensuring that homegrown technology remains African at its core. Meanwhile, global auto giants face a strategic dilemma. For years, their R&D pipelines revolved around battery chemistry, fast charging, and range anxiety. Now, a small team of African scientists has presented a paradigm that may render these billions in investments obsolete. Some insiders privately admit that they underestimated Africa's capacity for innovation. As one European executive confessed anonymously to Reuters, "We always looked at Africa as a market, never as competition. That was a mistake." In international think tanks, discussions are heating up. Could Africa's self-powered car accelerate the global transition to renewable mobility faster than predicted? If replicated at scale, charging stations, once considered the backbone of EV expansion, might become redundant in certain regions. Urban planners envision cleaner skylines, while environmental activists hail it as a carbon miracle. Yet others caution that commercialization will test not only technology but also supply chains, regulatory frameworks, and international cooperation. Still, optimism outweighs skepticism. Several African governments have already pledged support through funding and infrastructure incentives. A Pan-African Green Mobility Council is rumored to be forming, designed to coordinate cross-border EV production and trade. The prototype's unveiling may have marked the birth of Africa's own EV ecosystem, a network independent from Western and Asian dominance. Media outlets across continents continue dissecting every detail. What materials are used in the infinity cap? How is the solar nanofilm maintained in dusty conditions? Can the car withstand real-world wear over years of use? The project's lead engineer, Dr. Amara Mensah, addressed these questions in a calm, confident tone during an interview. Innovation doesn't begin with perfection. It begins with courage. We built this not to challenge others, but to challenge ourselves and perhaps inspire the world to think differently. Her words spread rapidly, turning her into a symbol of modern African ingenuity. The announcement also reignited debates about global equity in technology. For decades, patents and capital flows kept innovation concentrated in industrialized nations. Africa's self-powered car could shift that balance, showing that innovation thrives where necessity meets vision. With energy access still limited for many African communities, a self-sustaining mobility solution doesn't just serve convenience, it meets survival needs, connecting remote regions without dependence on fragile grids. The vehicle itself, dubbed AfriVolt-1, embodies this philosophy. Its design blends functionality and elegance, streamlined aerodynamics, light composite materials, and AI-based adaptive control systems. Observers noted that its dashboard resembles a minimalist command center, providing real-time analytics of energy harvesting, storage, and consumption. The car communicates via satellite-link telemetry, ensuring performance data is collected for further optimization. Even the tires integrate microgenerators that capture rotational energy, a small but symbolically powerful innovation. Every aspect of AfriVolt-1 represents intent, independence, sustainability, and pride. The unveiling video's final frame displayed a simple tagline, "Powered by Africa," driven by the world. Within minutes, it became a viral slogan, printed on shirts, banners, and online. Campaigns across multiple languages. The message resonated with a global audience hungry for authentic progress stories and sustainability. Search trends reveal exponential spikes for phrases like Africa's self-powered EV, new African car invention, and next-generation energy technology. Tech blogs and major media outlets optimized their content around these keywords, while influencers uploaded reaction videos dissecting every clip of the presentation. YouTube thumbnails showed glowing blue cars against African sunsets, accompanied by titles like "The Innovation No One Saw Coming" and "How Africa Outsmarted the EV Giants." The click-through rate soared, confirming massive public curiosity and engagement. For SEO, the combination of keywords such as africaev innovation, self-powered car technology, clean energy revolution, African engineering breakthrough, and disruptive electric vehicles are already dominating search results. This reflects the magnitude of global interest surrounding the announcement. And yet, beneath all the buzz, something deeper is happening. It's not just about a car, it's about a narrative reversal. The world is witnessing a continent long associated with extraction, now leading a conversation about sustainability. For African youth, it's a signal that innovation is not imported, it's homegrown. For international markets, it's a reminder that disruption often emerges from the unexpected.